Hey, this is Henry Sanders back with another episode of Real Talk. We want to thank our sponsors at Park Bank. Thank you for everything you're doing. Park Bank has been with us for the past couple of years. We thank you for all the support over there. They've been showing us a lot of love, and thank you for really helping us make sure we get the voice of people of color out. As you know, for our new Real Talk series this season, we've really kind of changed the format, right? We're really talking to people of color about how they have this kind of superheroes in our minds. Like they have these powers to actually succeed when they shouldn't succeed. They have to have, well, I say the spider sense of knowing like racism is going on. They have to know when to jump over a building. They have to know how to run, when to run fast. Like these are talents that we have of people who are actually very influential, have really awesome journeys, tough journeys. And so we really want to get to learn those things about our wonderful leaders in this state. And beyond. And so, speaking in that, this is the guy we have on the show today. So me and his brother go way back, and I know this dude from a long time. He's kind of coming at him. He's moving. Milwaukee's like trying to come into Madison, and I want you to know I see it. Grisel's over there at Alliance. I want you to know them. Jason coming. I want you to know I see it. Y'all not like, I'm not sleeping. I see all moves. I see the whole chessboard. I see what y'all doing. Coming in our city. That's okay though. It's okay. I got number love from Milwaukee. Number love. We moving in there ourselves. So this is a man who has had a wonderful journey, who has always been entrepreneurial in my perspective. Has always been an independent thinker when it's politically. Someone's all about building wealth. I know it's something that's hard, being entrepreneurial, economic development. So when I heard that this man got this job, it makes sense. That made total sense to me. And shout out to MadREP. For hiring a black man to lead economic development. I can't think of any other time in Madison that a black man has led a major organization that wasn't just focused on white people around economic development in Dane County ever. So, to my man, Jason Fields, Mr. Milwaukee himself, 414, coming to the 608. What's up, bruh?
What's up, man? You Mr. 608. I see you, Mr. 414, moving into my old neighborhood. I see the Facebook posts. I see the magazines. I see the 365 logo all over the place. So congratulations, man, on all the success. And, I think we, like you said, we go way back before all of this. Way back. So congratulations on all the success, man.
But same to you, man. I see you. Look at you wearing a nice suit. Is that a tailor-made suit, bro? Like that's a fitted. Let's look at that. But you're making tailor-made money now, bro. So that's look at this suit. Look at this suit, bro.
I got to step my game up. So the first chess piece was to get into Madison. Second chess piece is to hook up with you. Now I'm on my way.
Now I see people like this is how like Milwaukee people. You gotta watch them, right? So like he's saying that, but I haven't seen this black man. Like he hasn't I'm probably the 15th person on the list he got to. He said he met with G, other people, And G's my dude. He's a Southsider. I'm not mad at G. He's just a Southside dude. And I got love for him. But it's like, come on, man. No. So Jason, walk me through. One, how do you feel about this job, man? Like, how do you feel about being the MadREP CEO and president, man? Like, how does that feel being in that job?
It's still surreal, man. I mean, right now we're in the honeymoon period, where you're the new guy, right? And so, I knew a lot of the political people, like you and a few other people, just from being in the legislature. But now getting a sense of the culture of some of the other outlying areas, everybody was real cool, real welcoming, man. And so it's been great. I'm excited, man. But I was telling our team, you all should know this is not going to my head. This is the period where everything is cool and sweet. I, you know, and you know this. I've been through the phases where, at some point, I figure I got about another 2 months before it really start hitting the fan, and the people who don't like you start popping up. So you know, I'm moving methodically, man, but I'm digging it. I'm having a real good time.
And are you married now?
I am, man. Yes, married in 2017 to. Yeah, man. I love being married, man. My wife, the Latasha Fields, first African American president for the Wisconsin State Reading Association.
Okay, a power couple. Okay.
You know, that is the foundation of everything, man. So it is nothing like having a strong, beautiful sister holding you down spiritually, mentally, emotionally. She my best friend, bro. She is my confidant, man. And so, yeah, brother, and she run everything. So if she would have said, Jason, no, you wouldn't be talking to me right now, bro. So.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, because I knew you before you were married, right? Like, yeah. So I'm like, oh, he's married now. That's a whole different perspective. So let's talk about your journey, though, man, because you were in the legislator for a while. What did you do before the legislator, though?
I was a stockbroker. I was in the financial arena. So before I was a legislator, I was in finance as a stockbroker, investment advisor, branch manager of a credit union, personal banker. And so, you know,
in Milwaukee?
Yep, in Milwaukee. Heavily into the insurance and investment arena. So that was where I got my feet wet in the private sector, in the financial arena.
So did you grow up in Milwaukee?
I did, man. It's weird, though, because my mom is from the south side of Chicago. My dad is from Bryan, Tennessee. So don't ask me how they hooked up in Milwaukee. You know, when all the black folks migrated.
Yeah.
You know, so born and raised in Milwaukee. But, you know, my parents gave us a well-rounded life experience and education. So I kind of moved like I'm not from Milwaukee, which is weird. And you have some of that element where not necessarily Midwest.
Yeah.
So here in the Midwest, bro, and my guy Gene on our team was just saying this, we tend to be very conservative. We don't want to take risks. We want to make sure everything cool. People like me and you, we tend to be like, yo, let's go forward. Let's go. And so, yeah, I'm from here, but I got some New York City tendencies.
See, now you give me a lot of stuff to dive into, right? So, like, first though, see, like when you black folks from Milwaukee say y'all from Milwaukee, I mean, you gotta watch what y'all like. So when Milwaukee's big, so did you come from Delafield? Like, you know, where did you?
I'm Milltown, baby. I'm dead in Milltown.
See, now that's how we'll tell right now.
Yeah,
what high school did you go to, Mr. Fields?
Milwaukee Lutheran. So
okay.
Milwaukee Lutheran High School.
Okay. All right.
It was different. It's different now. It didn't look the same when I went, but it's a lot different. But you know, man, yeah. So we grew up football, basketball, man. Lived in the city. Stomping grounds were 27th at Highland, 27th at Howard. You know.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Just checking because Milwaukee's so big. Everyone said they're from Milwaukee and they're from Waukesha. You know
bro. No, I'm Milltown.
Okay. You know, you just gotta watch. You gotta watch these Milwaukee folks. I'm telling you, just you know. So you graduated from high school. Where'd you go to college?
I did my freshman year, my first year at Valparaiso University. So went there. It was like a bigger high school, you know. So I went to Milwaukee Lutheran at a time where it was predominantly white. You had a few of us. Wasn't a major school. Great education. You know, German sort of dedicated sports athletics where, you know, we were killers, like, right? Like we wanted to win. And so went to Valparaiso University my freshman year, came back to Milwaukee and just wasn't ready, man. I mean, mentally, emotionally. So went to MATC, did some Milwaukee Area Technical College, did some classes there, started working, bro, and got into the financial arena. And then finally got my bachelor's degree in 2014. I had already been done, but like most black folks, I ran out of money, so I needed to pay. so they wasn't gonna give me my diploma until I paid.
So how did you get into the finances? Like, how does that? Because historically, they don't really teach finance in high school. They don't teach investments in high school, and in our community, sadly, in our community, we don't talk about money often. If we do, it's about debt and paying bills, but we don't talk about how building wealth building wealth, investing, stocks. How did you get into that? That
was one of the reasons. I'll tell you one of the stories. As I graduated from insurance and more sophisticated investments, I remember this story. I remember I was in high school. Senior year, we were going to play basketball. I was on the team. A white guy, a friend of mine, point guard, he was reading the Wall Street Journal. Me and the rest of the guys, black and white, all brothers, we were in the back of the bus talking about what teenage boys do, girls.
Right.
And we looked at him and we asked him, like, yo, you understand that stuff? And he said, yeah. Now, mind you, his mom was like a doctor, dad was like a lawyer or something like that. And I felt inferior, bro. Like, it was one of the rare times where I stopped engaging in the conversation because in my spirit, I felt like, not that he was better or smarter, but I felt that he knew something that we didn't know. And he was driving to school in an Audi at the time. Wow. This was back like 1992. I mean, Audis wasn't sexy back then. We didn't even know about them. Right. And so as I got older, got into college, I started looking at the financial arena, and there was nobody that looked like me. Nobody in my family, we were talking about this stuff. And I wanted to be a businessman. And so when I started working in insurance, and it was just a whole world that in my community, nobody was talking about, bro. Whether it was insurance, investments, savings, checking. And my mom and dad took me and my brother to open up our first checking account at the age of 12. And I remember it was a joint checking account. I remember feeling that emotional, we doing something that's big. And when we talk about economics, if we're not talking about economics, what are we talking about, bro? I mean, in the words of Jay-Z, if we're not talking about dollars and cents, I don't know what you're talking about, because that's the area where our community needed the most help. And in order to do that, we got to have people that look like us, who we trust and who we know can explain it to us. And so that's how I got into it. And every year I just progressed because I had got licensed at 18. Nobody's trying to buy insurance from an 18-year-old black man. And so because of that weakness, my way to compensate was to get more certifications, to get more education. So I kept moving up the financial food chain, got my insurance license, life and health, property and casualty. Felt like nobody was listening to me, so I needed to be more sexier. Went and got my mutual fund and variable insurance and variable annuities license. I was 24. Okay, I'm still not hot enough. Went to get my stockbroker's license. Okay, now I'm starting to make a little noise, but ain't nobody really paying attention to me. So now I went to go get my Series 65. Now I'm an investment advisor. Okay, now I'm starting to get a little respect. It's still not hot. Now I got to start dealing with investment bankers and became an investment banker. So every year I just kept going because in my mind, I needed to overcompensate because nobody was paying attention to me. And quite honestly, this is the lifestyle I wanted, bro. You said it earlier. Jay always in the suits. This is the lifestyle I wanted, and so I wanted to make sure my people in my community, we understood the rules of engagement.
What's interesting about your journey is about, and you find this in a lot of people who grew up in historically, culturally black families, is that they were told there's going to be racism in the world. There's going to be discrimination in the world. You have to run faster. You have to work harder. You got the jump, all those things that you did. So I'm listening to you. Like I had to overcompensate. So I had to go get this certification, that certification, this certification, that certification. I don't know, like that is, I think, and sometimes people think there's a deficit. I think that's a blessing that my parents instilled that type of standard in me. Like, look, the world is not fair. However, if you go hard, right? Like if you go hard, it still would be difficult, but you got to make things happen, right? And sometimes you have to overcompensate. And was that part of it, or was that your color of your skin, you being black, man? Was that part of it?
It was a combination of both. It was a combination of the competitiveness, and that my parents instilled in us. You should be striving for excellence, not perfection, but excellence. And then there was a part that I'm a young black man, and I don't need no BS. We don't need no games. You need to know, I know what the hell I'm talking about, so we don't have to screw around with all this time, and we can get to business. And so part of that was my attitude of I'm just as good and just as smart as everybody else. So we need to get past that because we got work to do. Yeah. And I still take that. I still got that energy. I'm not here to be talking. I don't need best friends. We got work to do, bro.
And I love what you just said, right? Because the certifications basically was almost like saying, I'm getting in the door. Okay, it gets me in the door. If you're going to question about my qualifications, here's my certification, blah, 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 bam. Now, can we get down to work, right? Like, let's get past that. And it's funny because I do it for Master 365, right? So what I do all the time is I'm always talking about our numbers. Like we average about 1.3 million people a month. I'm always talking about numbers. And I don't do it to brag.
Right.
I do it to let people define the people, especially our white audience, to say, when the white funders, wait a minute, let's not look at me just as a black man, right? Right. Here are my numbers. If you add all your favorite media outlets together, they don't compete with us. And so it's not bragging. It's about saying numbers. It's just about numbers. So let's get past this, whatever hang up you have about our mission by reaching people of color. Let's get past my race. Let's get past all that. Now let's get down to numbers. Here we are. Right. And now can we get down to conversation about how this advertising whatever is going to work. Right. And so I understand what you're doing, man. I understand. And I know some people outside looking at me like that. Why do you have to feel like there's certifications? Why do you have to feel like you talk these numbers? Because as a person of color, there's barriers you have to go in and get past, right? And that's just one. Like, can we get past all that and let's get down to the nitty gritty of the business, like business. So I get that, Jay.
In the perfect world, we shouldn't have to do all that. But as you said, it's not a perfect world.
It's not.
It's just not a perfect world. And I get, if you and I had some reservations or some built up anger because you had to do that, because to a certain degree it wasn't fair. But because I think we are who we are, that's just life, man. We ain't got time to sit here and complain about it. I ain't got time to worry about why it's that way still. All I know is God sent us here not to be broke, busted, and disgusted, and we need to get to success as fast as possible so we can help bring other people up. And you doing that, and I think it's often a misconception that people will look at you and mean like, well, you're bragging. No, that's whether we like it or not, this is business. And this stuff, and this is where I tell my brothers and sisters, y'all got to stop thinking everybody's supposed to do stuff because it's the right thing to do. That's the dumbest.
Well, there's no longevity in that. There's no longevity in that because what's the right thing to do today might not be the right thing to do tomorrow, and the right thing defined by who? Right? Like ask Donald Trump and his supporters. The right thing for them to do is to storm the Capitol. Right? That's the right thing to do. Now, yes, that's not the business case, but that's the right thing. So that's like a really slippery slope, man. And I also think what you mentioned too is I don't have no hang-ups after this. I don't expect the world to be perfect, and I know that the people who are successful, white, black, Asian, whatever it is, work hard.
I mean, you gotta make sense, right? It gotta, Magic Johnson said this, and I get where people start to look at people with that mentality, you, me, and go, they don't want to help and all this. He said, the same energy it takes to get $1 million deal done as the same energy that it takes to get $100 million deal done. But the return and the reward is different. So when deals are brought to me, I got to be mindful of my time. So in essence, when we're talking about business, I've stopped approaching people with it's the right thing to do, because you said right is subjective. Now, does it make sense? Yes. And I will argue, like you argue, you know, these are our stats. This is our value. And my mission to help my people, my community, empower them, inform them. But at the same time, it's valid in that, because these are our numbers. Mm-hmm. And those are the kinds of discussions we need to be having. Yeah. Not just, help Black people out because it's the right thing to do. Hell, we all know it's the right thing to do, but waiting for people to do the right thing, you'll die by the time.
And you always be waiting, right? Because there's no incentive for them, because what's right for you might not be right for them.
That's right. So,
but even talk about privilege. We talk about privilege. Okay, so you want someone to give up their privilege? Like they're just going to give it up? Like, would you just give up your privilege? Right? So I mean, that's that's just like. And I'm not saying that there is absolutely just people have privilege after the systematic racism. Right. I can give you 20 stories right now where break your heart of racism I've gone through. So I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm saying to go to someone who has that privilege, say, just give me this because it's the right thing to do. That's not gonna change anything. And the civil rights shows you that. Go back, look at MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. and those guys, the boycotts. It wasn't the white people say, "Oh yeah, you can get on the bus now." No. They had to hit them where it hurt. They hit them with that business, that economy, and then they said, that's the right thing to do. Oh, now it's the right thing to do. Okay, it's the right thing to do because I'm in your pocketbook.
Economics, and that's why it's been all my passion and how I got to this. Because ultimately, if you're not talking about economics, I'm not sure what we're talking about.
Yeah, and it goes hand in hand, bro. So so you become a stockbroker, then you decide to get in politics, right? Like,
yeah,
politics is a tough game. And that legislator, man, like, good Lord, God, that's a tough hurdle. So, why politics?
I remember being a broker at my office desk, and I was praying, and I remember praying to God, I want to be where the action at. Basically, that was something like that was my prayer.
Be careful with your prayers, bro.
Man. Sorry, but that's a realist statement. Be careful what you ask for, because sometimes God will give it to you.
I tell my kids all the time, I love you enough to give you what you want, but then you have to do what I give you, because you said you wanted it. I love you enough to give it to you.
Sometimes the best answered prayer is the one that go unanswered. Johnny Morris Tatum was running. I was managing campaigns, and my godfather ran for county executive in Milwaukee. And at this time, it was him, Scott Walker, Tom Nardelli, and a few other people. And it was like, and this was where it was a time where Milwaukee could have had an African-American county executive, an African-American police chief, an African-American mayor, an African-American sheriff, and an African-American common council president, and an African-American chairman of the county board. And so when you look at this, you're going, we had an opportunity to get in positions to change all this stuff. And so politics came around because I was like, like you, I was one of these up and coming leaders. You can complain that it's nothing to do. You can leave, like many people you and I both know, or you can go, where do I get in, add value to change the narrative? And for me, politics was that way. So I went to the community elders, ran and won, bro. And I'll say this, I haven't shared it with a lot of people. I wasn't necessarily worried about winning or losing. Deep down, I knew this where God was taking me. I'll tell you the real issue, what bothered me the most was what happened once you win. That was my focus. That's what I was focused on. Campaigning, that's in comparison, that's easy. What you do once you get there, that's the killer part. That's that's where the rubber hits the road, man. And so I knew the pen was mightier than the sword. And if I wanted to change some things economically, I had to increase my education financially. And then politically, I had to understand the politics, the rules of engagement.
Yeah, like every level, you got to learn the language, right? So it's interesting. We could talk. I'm anti-politics these days, but I think
for good reason.
Don't get me started, man. I tell people all the time, the most racism I've ever received in my life
is in politics.
It was I was running for office from the Democratic Party. Brutal, blatant racism. I've never experienced that ever in my life. That type of intensity and that blatant. I literally had people telling me, like a county board supervisor, was like, yeah, well, where else you black people going to go? Like, where else you going to go? You have to stick with us. Bold, and mean, and look at your face, and what you going to do about it, right?
That's a real issue that black folks talk about amongst ourselves.
Behind the scenes, yeah.
And that people need to understand. That's a real issue. That's a real issue.
Yeah, and like you being from Milwaukee, brother, I love y'all Milwaukee because y'all part of the family, but I still don't understand how y'all haven't had a black mayor, like an elected black mayor in Milwaukee. And no shade to Milwaukee, right? But I'm telling you, if Madison had 20% of black folks, we would have black mayors continue day, black mayors would be standing in office, or people of color. Y'all in Milwaukee, between you and the Latino community, y'all have over 50-some% of the population in Milwaukee, and y'all haven't had a black or person of color mayor elected in office. And
because one, and I'll tell you, it's a few reasons for that. Number one, most people don't understand what leadership is, and if you don't understand what leadership is, you don't know how to measure it, and if you don't know how to recognize it, and so because of that. You look at some of the people who come through, and even now, man, when you look at a lot of people that just running for office, ask them what's their track record. What have you gotten accomplished? Now, I know a lot of people don't see this, but we as a people need to just quit putting people in office because we like them and they cool. That's not good business. If you don't understand what leadership is, then you can't recognize it. And if you can't recognize it, you don't know who to put in place. And so our communities suffer from that. Black folks, we tend to be much more emotional, not rational, strategic. And so, we fall victim to not understanding what's in our best interest. Not just us, but, you have it a lot. We still think that the person out there screaming up and down, screaming amen, is the best candidate to lead the city forward. That's not, no, so, when you look at, we haven't done a good job of asking people, well, what have you really done?
Yeah.
What have you really done?
I'm trying to watch what I say because I really believe in not showing black love and showing people love and people of color love, everyone love, man. My faith tells me I need to love everyone, but I don't understand Milwaukee sometimes. I'm telling you right now, I promise you, if we had half the population y'all had in Madison, we would have people of color as mayor. It would just be, I don't understand how Milwaukee doesn't. It blows my mind. Just strictly numbers. And I know there's lots of different politics, whatever, but y'all don't have to agree on, y'all don't have to agree on everything, but you at least want to agree that a person of color should be able to relate to you more and understand, have more empathy for your issues. Even if you don't agree with them on all the issues, at least it's someone who you can relate to, that their mama, their daddy, the granddaddy, or someone knows it, went to high school,
yeah. And that's true, but the other side of that coin is it also has to be. You shouldn't just be voting for black folks just because they black. It should be a black candidate that's good. They don't have to be Barack Obama, but they should have a game plan.
No, I agree with that, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this though, okay, but I'm just saying some of your mayors you have in Milwaukee, no saying no names. Saying no names.
But
I mean, like you talking about. Let's look at the facts. I mean, look at the murder rate in Milwaukee. Look at the incarceration rate. Look at the shootings in Milwaukee. Look at your education system in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's one of the highest segregated places in the country. Bro, you want me to keep going?
Just the mayor, because now you got to bring in your council people.
See what I'm saying?
And now we're going to have a real conversation.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Now he's moving the goalposts right now, right? Yes, you are. Because you said, well, we don't want to just elect any person. Like, of course not. Yeah, of course. But I'm saying, like, there's enough talent in Milwaukee people who can run for office, mayor right now, who are equal to the talent of Tom Barrett right now.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
That's all my point. So
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. But listen,
no shit at Tom Barrett. What's up, Tom Mayor?
No, how you doing? Look, we both know Tom. I mean,
yeah.
But think about it. There are people at a certain level where why would you take on that?
Yeah.
You've been down that road, and look at where you at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Clearly, I can make a strong case for why you should be an elected leader here. But do you really want to go down that road? I mean, look at what you're doing.
Not me, but see, that's he's smart. Look at he flipped it on me, judo, flipped it on me. That's a good point though, right? But that's me though. That's my own journey, and my journey where I'm at now. I've learned, like we're talking about superpowers, whatever. Mine is living and helping other people get what they need to get, and lifting and being behind the scenes, giving people opportunity. Any access I have, I want to give that to people of color. Anything I can do to help people see people of color flourish and be excellent and have it right. So that's for me. That's where my journey. That's where mission. That's where you're talking about God. That's where God put out my heart to do that. Yeah. It's not for the political arena. That's not me. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't thrive in that environment, right? I just wouldn't thrive. I'm very goal oriented. Want to get past. But there are talented people like you and other people. I guess not you, not in politics anymore. You're still talented, but people who are in politics who should be in that.
I agree.
Milwaukee should have a person of color as mayor. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with that.
That's all I'm saying. Okay, so you leave the legislator, and then you come back to the legislature, right? Did you leave and come back?
Yeah, I lost to Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes in 2016.
Ah, so we had an LG on last show.
I lost in 2012, I believe it was 2012. 4 years off, just struggled, man. Started my consulting business, wrote some books, and just spiritually, man, was in a horrible, depressed place, and I'm very candid and open about the story. Was diagnosed with depression, man, became a recovering alcoholic. I just wasn't happy, man. And it's because I forgot, and I liken it to this. I forgot who God said Jason Fields was. Like in politics, everything in my life, bro, became politics. Like everything. Even to the point where my mind, every day, all day, I knew this was an issue and a problem. Here's when I realized it was time for me to do some other stuff. My niece was she was involved in a drive-by. She was sitting on the porch with some of her friends. Some knuckleheads, wrong identity, killed one of her best friends. She was shot in the back. I heard about the news. I heard about it. I'm rushing over. In my mind, I'm thinking, how is this going to play out politically? Wow. And that's where the realization that I was lost hit me. That's what I was thinking about. And from there, it just, like, what is life all about, bro? Like, if this was a movie, this would be the time where the hero fall, right? This was Black Belt Theater on Black Fridays. This would be the time period where the student got beat up by the evil dude, and he had to go and train some more. So nothing was, politics wasn't fun anymore. The racism on both sides, which we don't talk about a lot. The lack of being in a black city that don't have a black mayor. What? All these things start to play into you as a black man. And then you living in a city that, statistically, worst place for African Americans. Any negative statistic when it came to Milwaukee, we up there as it relates to black folks. So this is where I'm at. And drinking and had accidents, broke 3 ribs, fractured a nose, had to go to the house of correction. And then 4 years later, after all that darkness, man, I come out. It's like one day I wake up and go, I kept asking God, like, why me? How did I go from a young brother, 2 vehicles, a sports car in the summer, a truck for the winter, 4-bedroom house, people starting to know me politically. How did I go to that, from that, to being the guy that's getting up at 6 in the morning waiting for the liquor store to open? How the hell did I get here? And all I kept hearing God say is, my grace is sufficient enough for you. Kept asking, that's all I kept hearing, my grace is sufficient enough for you. And so when came out of it, and in 2016, met my wife. And bro, it just seemed like we done. It's time for you to return to who you were. And in 2016, ran again for office, won. 2018, no opponent. 30-some bills passed, legislation signed by 3 different governors. Switzerland, when it come to being in that building. This is where I'm supposed to be. I'm writing my own ticket now. Now I'm leaving on my terms.
What's interesting, and I love your journey, because again, it shows that there was struggle, there was pain, that you overcame it, though, because not everyone overcame, and not everyone can overcome what you did, right? With the curious thing, though, the obvious question is, what was in you that felt you were strong enough to go back into that political game where it really had broken you before, and you were always broke, like politics became your idol,
yeah,
and then you were drinking.
Yeah.
Politics had to be part of that. That all had to be part of the ecosystem of why you were drinking.
Yeah.
What made you feel like you were prepared to go back into that environment and handle it better a second time?
Because in politics, you always worry about what people going to say about you, what they going to say, what people going to do. You always worried about your image. I went to hell. I was drinking every day, physically, pain, spiritual pain. And it dawned on me, what people say about me don't mean jack. What people think about me at the end of the day don't mean jack. Because when I was struggling and down and out, none of them people came to help. So in politics, you worry about, well, if I don't do this, they gonna do that. What you gonna do to me? What you gonna do to me that I ain't already suffered? And so now it's almost like I got stripes on my back, man. I got bruises. What you gonna do? What you gonna say that I haven't already said? I've lost money. I lost houses. What is that gonna do? So it was almost as if it was a real awakening to really understand what's important in life. And it was the way you treat people, the joy that I give my parents, becoming a great husband for my wife, not looking for a great wife, but becoming a great husband for her. After all of that, politics was nothing, man. It was a cakewalk, bro.
This is good to hear. Like, like earlier I was saying, like, with politics, I feel like my calling was just to serve people. That sounds as cliche it is. Like I feel like I'm just meant to serve and help people and serve the best way I can. And for me, it's just to live life and help other people.
Yeah.
Right. That's just it. Like, be a good husband, be a good father, the best I can be, and serve and love other people. And my faith helps me lead that. Like, that's my mission. Like if you ask me my purpose, I would say that's my purpose. So it sounds like you found your purpose, right? Your purpose is...
Yeah, I rediscovered it. I rediscovered it in walking in my full potential. Les Brown said the wealthiest place on the planet Earth is the graveyard, because that's where dreams go to die. Yeah. I'm not going to be one of those people that contribute to that. So I found and rediscovered what my purpose is. And I think when you can walk in that, and when you understand who you are, like really understand who you are, then you're not swayed by people's perceptions, or if they're talking about you, or if they don't like you, or if they get mad at you. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's just, and we live our lives based on what other people gonna say and think and do. That's slavery, man. That's a form of mental, spiritual slavery, when every day I gotta wake up and be concerned about what somebody else gonna think, say, or do to me. God didn't send me here to live like that.
Wow.
So
that's the quote. That's the quote for the whole podcast right there. That's slavery. Woo.
I don't wake up thinking, worried about what people gonna do or say. That's not my thing.
So, man, I'm gonna let you go here, man, because we've had a lot. You can tell we could do this forever.
Yeah,
but
I forgot we were doing something.
But you know what? Which is great, because I think it's so important for people to hear the journey of people of color in where we start, in the trauma we deal with.
Yeah,
that we have to overcome. The invincibility we have to become, the shields we have to develop all the different skill sets to survive and to thrive. But for the people who are going through those struggles, who are like you, or are like, who see other people like you, like, know that you could make it, right? Like, they know, like, okay, like, it wasn't just Jason to show up in a suit. No, listen to this brother. He went to the legislature, lost the election, came back, went back. He said he's a recovering alcoholic, all these different things, like. And he's now, look at him, he's at MadREP, the CEO of MadREP, a major organization, a major player organization. Like, if you're from Milwaukee, the place, it would be like your MMAC. Is that what they call it, Milwaukee?
M7.
F7, yeah. So, and now he's leading this, and he's a married man, which I wish we had more time to dig into the marriage and how important marriage is. Yeah. Because it roots you in so much. Or having a strong relationship with someone roots you in so much. So I wish we could dig into that more. So before we go, I ask everyone this question. If you could have any superpower.
Oh.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
If I could have any superpower, I would say, and this is the businessman to be thinking, I'd be on some Charles Xavier mind control type stuff. It wouldn't be speed, strength. It'd be on some Charles Xavier mind control type stuff.
I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, bro. Why is that, though? Why is it? Because you could... Where's that come from? Because
at that point, because I think it's, because think about it, that's the ultimate power. If I can tap into your mind and can control your mind, I got you. No matter if you're strong, fast, if you're invisible, if I can tap into your mind and make you think what I want you to think, control how you see things, what you gonna do?
And what's funny about what you're saying, it comes full circle about you saying that's slavery. Earlier you were saying that's slavery. People can control you and you worry about their thinking. It fits. You're consistent, right? It's full circle. And you can, if we want to go deep, this is what systematic racism can do for you, right? Like, they want to control your mind, control how you act. The tactics we use to overcome are tactics that are not historically a black culture tactics. I mean, we could go, what you just said is deep.
You can ask why we don't have a black mayor.
I'm just asking. It's just obvious question to ask. Like, why don't like? You know what I mean? Like, if y'all,
it's some Xaviers running around.
And on that note, Mr. Fields, the new CEO and president of MadREP here in Madison. How many counties are you in charge of? 16? How many counties? Eight counties. Madison, Dane County, a lot of rural areas also. MadREP, expecting big things for you. Much love to MadREP, everything, Mr. Fields. Thank you for all that you're doing. We appreciate you deciding to come to Madison to fight the battle here, brother. We hope you stay for a while.
Yeah.
And thank you for everything you're doing. Hope we can partner with you doing things in the future, man. And I love your story. I love your journey. I'm going to pray for your wife, though. I'm going to pray for your wife, man. Because, good Lord, she married you. So I know I know what she's dealing with. I know. Miss Fields, I'm sorry.
She read everything. She good. So.
I'm joking. So, man, hey, it's much love. I love seeing you on your feet, doing your thing. You're looking good. Bro. And we'll see you next time, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, here. Next time, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe to our podcast.
This is 365 Media.